I've been activated as a Walmart Spark driver for about a year now, and I have good experience of the different order types, the pay, problems, customer tips, bonus pay, and more. So if you're trying to decide, is driving for Walmart Spark worth it in 2024, this is your video. Firstly, let me start with probably the most common order type you're going to see. That's the curbside pickup request. So you go to the Walmart or the Sam's Club and you just park in that pickup zone. You don't got to shop. You don't got to pull the items. The associates are going to do that for you. You mark what parking spot you're in and you wait and they load the vehicle for you. From there, you just make the delivery and you get paid. Super easy, like most of these side hustle platforms. But there's been a big problem with these curbside pickups. That's what happens if you arrive too early, or what happens even if you arrive exactly on time and they're not ready. Well, clearly you have to wait and you're the one that's going to waste your time there. So you're sitting there and you see other people pulling up with their personal orders or maybe even other Spark drivers and their stuff's ready. You're sitting there. 5, 10, 20 minutes, 35 minutes. I've had it happen. Think about it. That's the only thing that can happen on a curbside pickup. It's your reliance on those associates is either going to be ready or it's not going to be ready. Now, Spark going into 2024 has committed to improving this process because they heard your feedback from fellow Spark drivers and they say they're going to improve this pickup process. So if we gave them the benefit of the doubt here, if the curbside pickup, you park, they load it, you deliver it. If that goes smoothly, is the curbside pickup worth it? Well, of course, it comes down to the pay, right? It depends on how many miles I'm driving. It depends on how long that's going to take. But I've said this basically from day one here is Spark is a centrally based warehouse side hustle like GoPuff that all of the orders originate from these warehouses. It's not like food delivery where there's a lot of different restaurants and even Dash Marts, convenience stores that you can just ping pong, we call it, from order to order. You have to always come back to a Walmart, a Sam's Club, or a participating location, albeit it depends on your marketplace, how many other locations are on the Spark platform. So take a look at my marketplace here. It's the South Pittsburgh market region on Spark. So yeah, I can get orders from other places, but if I'm mainly doing a Walmart or mainly doing a Sam's Club, I always have to come back. Pay attention to that because that's going to be important in a little bit. Now, you can use Spark as what we call a filler app. So you can do that order 1.5 miles away, or even imagine a little further away, probably like 6 or 7 miles. And if you don't want to drive back, you just go online with other side hustles and you try to take other requests. So with this curbside, there is ASAP express deliveries like we want you there right now. And a problem that I've experienced basically every single time is Spark doesn't care where you're currently at when you accept that request. They expect that pickup time to be in that pickup time window. Since doing side hustle work since 2015, most every single other side hustle platform in most every single other niche considers where you're at when you get the request. Like DoorDash knows, okay, this person's X amount of miles away and we'll send it to them when the restaurant should be about ready to have that order for pickup. So the timing works out. So when it comes to metrics though in Spark, and they do measure your driver profile on several metrics, they don't really care if you're 20, 30 minutes away and you want to get down there because you want to work in that marketplace like I do here in Pittsburgh. Just keep that in mind if you want to drive at a certain Walmart or Sam's Club. Again, I'm going to show you why that's important here in a second. Just wait to go online and get your request when it makes more sense to hit those on-time arrival windows. But the other order type that you're going to see that's arguably getting more and more popular. I read your comments down below. We are a team here. I'm one person, but I've been hearing that the shop and deliver are more and more attractive and possibly a better earnings option. So shop and deliver, like most any other shop and deliver platform that you're used to, you get the customer's order and you go in there and you shop for the items and then you check out. But I feel like Spark, I'll say after working on most every other major side hustle platform that has shopping, that I think Spark does it the best. from walking in that store, they tell you, okay, it's in this section, it's in this aisle, it's in this section of the aisle, and it's on this specific shelf, and you can track that the entire way. Not necessarily like mapping in the app per se, but there's numbers that correspond to section G, aisle 4, module 22, whatever it is, there's a product number. Actually, speaking of mapping, Walmart, here's one idea of how to improve the shopping process for Spark drivers and couriers. Let me know if you're a Spark courier, if you'd like this down below, but maybe an overview map of the store, a layout, and maybe the list of items below that. And if I click on it, I want to start over here, that it highlights the section of that map, because I have the, overhead signage, and I can use my experience of how stores are laid out, but I sometimes take an extra minute or two. And for gig workers, we want to work as effectively as possible. Just boom, click on it, go over here. But anyway, speaking of the shop and deliver process, it really is excellent. It is pretty much as seamless as you can be. And I compare that to Uber, I compare that to DoorDash, and Shipt and Instacart, other shopping platforms. The layout, the options for substitutions that are usually preloaded more than other platforms, and the seamless checkout process. I don't want to wait in line for a cashier to scan every single item, which is what you have to do if you're doing a grocery run on DoorDash, let's say. On Spark, you just have to scan the QR code at the self-checkout. Everything's linked. Sometimes an associate will come over, verify like 3 items, scan it, boom, and you bag it. And you're done. But of course, shop and deliver, like most shop and delivers, it's not without its fault, because imagine if you're doing a larger item count shop, then you're only getting the same thing with, other shopping platforms. You're only getting X amount of dollars, but you have to shop, spend more time in that store. But even that, I'll say that the lists that I've got, it's not too overwhelming. And I think the layout of the app that I told you about does save me time over other platforms. All right, but Mike, the pay on Walmart Spark, that's the most important thing. Let's be real here. And what helps you most on side hustle platforms, I say this every single time, it's the bonus pay. And Spark has its problems, with centrally based warehouses, but their almost baffling bonus program is something you really got to say. All right, well, going to the frequently asked questions on the Spark Driver website here, it says, what types of incentives are available? It's simple stuff, lump sum incentives. You get one defined incentive earnings for completing a set number of trips. So do 10 drops and then you get a bonus. Simple, there's a tiered incentives option. You hit 4 trips, then you earn an extra 20. You hit 6 trips, you earn an extra 20, etc. Earn per trip incentives, that's super easy. You do a delivery, you get a bonus. And then multi-trip earnings incentives. This is a guaranteed bonus incentive. So make at least $200 before tips. So you complete 10 trips, which might be the minimum trips required in a 7-day period. And if you don't make that, then Spark's going to pay the difference. Well, that's not too complicated. In fact, that's like most every other side hustle platform. Like you're talking about per delivery bonuses and grouped batch bonuses. Yes, but consider all the Walmarts or the Sam's in your area and the following actual criteria. So each completed trip can get an additional incentive of $3 with no upper limit. So complete a trip, get $3. Until you realize this is only for 2 days, which, okay, that's not that bad, but it's only from one store and it's only from 8 a.m. until 9 a.m. Oh, and also batched trips, stacked orders, 2 or more assignments for one driver, that also only counts as one trip. Now, we've kind of seen DoorDash do that in 2023, counting stacked orders as only receiving one additional bonus pay perk there, but it's only from one store in your market between a 1-hour window on each of the 2 days. All right, let's be fair though. Let's look at this one. Hit a milestone and you get an incentive up to $60. Earn a $36 bonus for completing 10 trips, or in essence, $360 per trip. This is a little weird. So earn a total of $60 for completing 14 trips. So if you add on an additional 4 trips, I guess you'll get the difference to total up to $60. Be nice if that was a little clearer, but all right, this one, it's 2 days as well. It's the 28th and 29th, but this is in the entire zone here. Walmart's Pittsburgh South. It doesn't say a certain store number, this store number. It says the entire zone. So if you're looking at the bonus program, you might want to look for bonuses that are just in the entire eligible zone, because otherwise you get plus $4 only from store number 6404. Again, batch trips only count as one trip, albeit this is actually a better amount of days, not just 2 days. This one says an extra $4 on the 28th and 29th in, yes, the eligible zone Pittsburgh South, but only from this applicable store number 5040. But wait a minute, this one also said the 28th and 29th for an additional $3 from store number 5040 from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So the one has a time limit, the other one doesn't have a time limit. It's the same day from the same store. So let's assume that's a stackable bonus if you happen to drive 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the one. So that is one good thing, honestly, though, about Spark, is they do have stackable bonuses. So if you qualify for multiple things, you'll get both. And lastly, earn $25 for completing 5 trips. Cool, 5 extra bucks per delivery there. From the 28th to January 1st from store number 2281 from only 7 p.m. until 10 p.m. and only Shopper Express requests. So it's got to be a shopping assignments for express delivery, which means like an ASAP delivery window. And of course, you guessed it, batch trips only count as one trip. Spark, a bonus program should not be that complicated. I understand, like, yeah, it's doable. It could be worse, I guess, but that's not how we should measure a bonus program. We have enough things going on, okay? As gig workers, I don't want to have to decipher. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of those in the incentives tab. I don't want to have to decipher a bonus program. And then when I do want to go for one, it's one little store on 1 day or 2 days in a certain tiny time window. So overall verdict is driving for Walmart Spark worth it in 2024. It is, but probably best as a filler app, or leveraging perhaps more of the shop and deliver until the curbside can really clean up expedited pickup processes. The general pay can be decent, but then they can also send you crazy stops. Like, hey, you get $25, but you have to do like 18 stops. We didn't even talk about that. So I feel like you have to be almost precision-like when driving on Spark to accept the best order, considering commuting miles back, if you're going to commute back, that is, and then which bonus programs to go for. So is it worth it? I mean, I guess kind of if you have surgical precision with your side hustle, but that makes it not a very enjoyable side hustle and one that might not make you as much money unless you're really putting in the effort and the research.